Have you ever wondered what the financial life of an average person actually looks like? Not the people you see on social media, not the success stories, not the motivational speakers, but the real average person living a normal life in 2026. Because if you remove all the noise, all the flexing, all the highlight reels, and you look at actual financial behavior patterns, the reality becomes far more shocking than most people realize. And today, we are going to break that reality down step by step. Not to judge anyone, not to criticize, but to understand the system people are actually living inside. Because once you see the real numbers, you will never look at money the same way again. Part 1. The invisible financial cycle most people live in. Let's start with something simple. Most people wake up every month thinking they are working for money. But in reality, a large portion of people are actually working inside a loop. A cycle that looks like this.
Work arrow. Get paid arrow. Pay bills arrow. Spend arrow. Repeat. And the most important part? There is usually very little left after the cycle ends. Not because people are careless, but because the structure of modern life is expensive by default. Housing, food, transport, subscriptions, loans, credit obligations, unexpected expenses, and slowly, without even realizing it, most income gets absorbed before it can become savings, which leads to one of the most shocking financial realities of all. Most people are not building wealth. They are just maintaining life. And there is a big difference between the two. Part 2. The emergency problem most people never see coming. Let's talk about something very important. Ask yourself this: if your income stopped today, how long could you survive comfortably? 1 month? 2 months? Maybe less? For a large number of people, the answer is uncomfortable. And this creates a hidden pressure that follows them everywhere. Because even when life looks normal on the outside, internally, there is always a background fear. What if something goes wrong? What if the job is lost? What if an emergency happens? What if expenses increase? What if something breaks? And this constant mental pressure becomes normal over time. Most people don't even realize they are living with it. It becomes part of their personality, part of their decisions, part of their stress levels. And this is where money stops being just money and starts becoming emotional pressure. Part 3. The debt layer that sits under everyday life. Now let's go deeper. One of the biggest hidden realities of the average financial life is this: debt is everywhere. Not always visible, but always present. Credit cards, EMIs, loans, buy now, pay later systems. Small monthly obligations that look harmless individually, but together create a heavy, invisible burden. And here's the most important part. Debt doesn't just reduce money, it reduces freedom. Because every obligation removes future flexibility. Every monthly payment reduces options. Every commitment limits decision-making power. And over time, people start organizing their life around payments instead of possibilities. That's the real shift most people never notice. Part 4. Why salary increases don't always help. Now here comes one of the most surprising financial truths. Making more money does not automatically solve financial stress. In fact, for many people, it does the opposite. Because as income increases, lifestyle increases too. A slightly better house, a slightly better car, better food, better gadgets, more subscriptions, more convenience spending. And slowly, the extra income disappears. Not because people are irresponsible, but because lifestyle inflation is extremely natural. Human psychology adjusts spending upward very quickly, which means higher income not equal to higher savings. And slowly, the extra income disappears. Not because people are irresponsible, but because lifestyle inflation is extremely natural. Human psychology adjusts spending upward very quickly, which means higher income not equal to higher savings. And this is one of the biggest reasons people feel stuck even when they upgrade their job. Part 5. The Housing and Transportation Reality. Now let's talk about two things that dominate most financial lives: housing and transportation. These two categories alone can take a massive portion of monthly income. And here's the problem: they are not flexible. They are fixed commitments. Rent or mortgage doesn't care about your month. Car payments don't care about your situation. Insurance doesn't pause because life is difficult. These expenses continue regardless of income fluctuations. And when fixed costs become too high, everything else becomes restricted. Saving becomes harder. Investing becomes delayed. Financial growth slows down, not because income is low, but because obligations are high. Part 6. The Psychological Weight of Money Stress. Now, we need to talk about something most people ignore completely. Money is not just numbers. Money is emotional energy. And financial stress quietly affects sleep, focus, relationships, decision-making, long-term thinking, confidence. Most people don't realize how much mental bandwidth money consumes every day. Even when they are not actively thinking about it, the brain is still processing it in the background. Bills, expenses, future uncertainty, job security, unexpected risks. And this creates a constant low-level stress that becomes normal over time. That's why financial freedom is not just about money. It's about mental peace. Part 7. Why most people never invest consistently. Now let's talk about investing. One of the biggest myths is that people don't invest because they don't know how. But in reality, most people don't invest because they don't have stability. When life feels unstable, investing feels risky. When expenses feel tight, investing feels impossible. When debt exists, investing feels stressful. So instead of building wealth, people delay it, and delay becomes habit. And habit becomes years, and years become decades. This is how wealth gaps quietly form, not in one big moment, but in thousands of small decisions not taken. Part 8. The Real Truth About the Average Financial Life. When you combine everything together, a clear picture appears. Most people are not failing financially because they are lazy. They are stuck in a system where income is consumed quickly, expenses are fixed and rising, debt adds pressure, savings are minimal, investing is inconsistent, and financial stress is constant. Individually, these problems look small,
But together, they create a cycle that is very hard to break.
Final part, the most important realization. Here is the truth most people never hear. The average financial situation is not permanent. It is a starting condition, and small changes can completely transform outcomes over time. Even small savings, small investments, small debt reduction, small income improvements, small habit changes can create massive long-term differences. Because finance is not about sudden change, it is about direction. And direction, repeated over time, becomes destiny. The most shocking money stat is not a number. It is this. Most people are closer to financial stability than they think, but they are missing structure, consistency, and time. And once those three things align, everything changes.